Hi, and welcome to this episode of John's Motorcycle Rescue and Review. In today's fun classic motorcycle comparison video, we'll be looking at 3 of my recent Kawasaki KZ1000 projects. Anybody who's familiar with classic motorcycles from the 1970s and 1980s is familiar with Kawasaki's KZ1000. The first KZ1000 debuted in 1977. It was the follow-on model to the 900cc Z1 and KZ900 models that Kawasaki had introduced in the early 70s. Kawasaki produced many different models of the KZ1000, and as a younger person, I really did not care which model we were talking about. I wanted a KZ1000 in the worst way. They've always been a dream bike for me. Fast forward to today, more recently I've picked up 3 KZ1000 project bikes. I've gone through these bikes and restored them, and I've also performed some upgrades to the bikes that really allow them to perform as they should. The bikes that are featured in this video are the 1978 KZ1000. This one is set up like an A model, but it started life as a KZ1000 LTD. I'll go over that more as we go through the bikes individually. The next bike I'll feature is Kawasaki's 1979 KZ1000 Shaft. And the final bike we'll look at is the 1981 Kawasaki KZ1000 CSR. I have featured each of these bikes previously on this channel, and I'll include a playlist for each of them in the comment section below. That way, if you're interested in seeing exactly what was done to the bikes over the course of time that I've owned them, you can watch through that video series and see the modifications that I've made to bring these beautiful classics back to life. As we go through them, I'll give a little bit of my history with each one and the specs of the bike, and then I'll take them out on the road and we will see what they're like to ride. So you definitely want to stay tuned for that. The first bike we'll look at is Kawasaki's 1978 KZ1000. As I said earlier, this bike actually started life as a KZ1000 LTD. I purchased this bike as a rolling chassis with a separate engine and bins of parts. This has been a long-term project for me, but I am really liking the way that it's turning out so far. As much as I like the LTD models, I really wanted the standard style KZ1000, and to that end, I have replaced the seat and the tank on this bike with the KZ1000A parts, and I'm coming down the home stretch on this beautiful project. Upgrades that I've made to this bike to increase the safety and performance on it include a full Kirker exhaust, and I'm currently working on getting the jetting finalized for that. I've also put a lower handlebar on it that gives more control in the corners. I've upgraded the brake lines with steel braided Spiegler brake lines, and I've replaced the rear shocks on this bike. I've also recently picked up an A model 18-inch rear wheel that I'm hoping everything will transfer over easily. I still have a couple of final tweaks that I want to do to this bike to get it fully road ready for the season. But as it is drivable and it's really coming along nicely. Let's see how it sounds out on the road.
Pulls really nice. It sounds really good too with the Kirker exhaust. nice.
The next bike we'll be looking at is Kawasaki's 1979 KZ1000 Shaft. The KZ1000 Shaft was developed more as a touring bike to compete with the Goldwing, Suzuki's GS1000G, and XS1100 from Yamaha. I bought this motorcycle several years ago as a full-dress touring model, and I have since stripped it down back to the standard model. The chrome and the paint on this bike are all original. I'm the second owner on this motorcycle, and it's just a beautiful example of an almost all-stock KZ1000 Shaft. Modifications that I've done to this bike are limited to a lower handlebar for better control in the corners and Spiegler brake lines, in addition to progressive suspension springs in the front forks. In 1979, Kawasaki went in and they modified the motors in all of their KZ1000 models, and they bumped the horsepower, about 10 horsepower. In 79, Kawasaki also squared off the styling on a lot of their KZ1000 models, and so a lot of people actually prefer the styling on the pre-79 models that was more rounded, but I think Kawasaki did a nice job on the squared off styling as well. Let's see what this bike is like to ride. The next bike we'll look at is Kawasaki's 1981 KZ1000 CSR. This bike was heavily based on the KZ1000J Sport Standard style motorcycle, which was actually the quickest KZ1000 model ever produced. Kawasaki's CSR and LTD motorcycles represented their cruiser line. Those bikes differed mainly in the wheels. The LTD featured the mag wheels and the CSR featured the spoke wheels. The KZ1000 CSR has a slick shifting 5-speed transmission I purchased this bike several years ago as a non-runner, and I've gone through the process of restoring it. I have mounted a lower handlebar on it, as well as a Delcovic exhaust. I've also replaced the brake lines with Spiegler steel braided brake lines. And of all the bikes in this test, this one definitely feels the sportiest and the least cruiser-like. Let's see what it's like to ride out on the road.
That's awesome.
All right, man, what a lot of fun. If you would have told me as a younger man that I would have all three of these classic Kawasaki's in the garage when I was older, I probably wouldn't have believed you. It's such a treat to get to ride these classic bikes and to rescue them and to get them back on the road. And not only that, but to bring the safety level of the brakes and the suspension more into the modern era so that they can be safely enjoyed for years to come. The 1978 KZ1000 is by far my most involved project. I really like the green and gold paint job that's on it. I like the A model styling. I love the sound of that Kirker exhaust on it, and it is just a fun bike to get out and ride. And it's also a fun bike to just look at in the garage. Good points on the 1978 KZ1000 are a robust 1000cc motor. This is a smooth motor. This bike runs very nicely. It shifts very nicely. It has excellent brakes for a classic bike with the Spiegler upgrades done to it. On the downside, the stock suspension on this motorcycle was notably stiff. And the seat, although it looks all day comfortable, tends to become uncomfortable after about half an hour of riding. Additionally, the handling on the original KZ1000s was not notably good. It's not a poor handling bike, but it requires some effort to go quickly in the corners, and it has a little bit of a top-heavy feel to it. The final point I'll bring up here is driveline lash, and it has a little bit of driveline lash when you go from on throttle to off throttle, and then go to pick up the throttle again coming out of a corner. Moving on to the KZ1000 Shaft. This bike is a real treat to ride. It is all day comfortable. It's a smooth bike to ride. I love the fact that this bike is in such all original condition. I think it's a beautiful machine. And with the modifications that I've made to the brake lines and the front suspension, this bike really stops nicely in a way it never did from factory. This bike definitely feels like it's closely related to the 1978 model. It also has a little bit of a top-heavy feel to it. It also suffers from a bit of driveline lash, and it's also a bike that requires more concentration when you're riding quickly in the corners. And that brings us to the 1981 Kawasaki CSR 1000. It's really amazing to me that the values on the CSR 1000 are nowhere near as high as they are on the earlier generation of KZ1000s. I think that currently these are a great classic bike value. This bike feels like it weighs about half what the other two bikes weigh. This bike also handles incredibly well. It is very flickable in the corners. It has a motor that picks up revs very quickly, much quicker in fact than the other two KZ1000s. Adding the steel braided brake lines really improved the braking performance. The lower handlebar that I installed in this motorcycle really improved the cornering ability, and that Delcovic 4-into-1 exhaust just sounds amazing every time you twist the throttle. This bike definitely feels like the hot rod of the group. It shifts very nicely, it pulls very cleanly from idle to redline, and this thing is just a hoot to ride on shorter trips. On the downside, that dished out seat really locks you in one seating position, and the soft foam in the seat kind of sacks out after about half an hour. And so at that point, the comfort wears a little bit thin. And like the other KZ1000s, this one does suffer from a little bit of driveline lash, but it's much less pronounced. Styling wise, hands down, I really like the green 1978 KZ1000 the best. I think this is just a classically beautiful bike. And I would rate the KZ1000 Shaft next from a styling standpoint. And finally, the KZ1000 CSR, although I think all of these bikes are really good-looking motorcycles. It is time to pick my favorite motorcycle of this bunch, and once again, that's a really tough choice for me. I really like all of these bikes. Functionally, the CSR 1000 is a generation ahead of the other two motorcycles in the way that it performs, and it's honestly my favorite one to ride. However, I have wanted one of the first generation KZ1000s for most of my adult life, so I'm actually going to declare a tie with the CSR and the green KZ1000 just because the green bike is so beautiful and it's got such an iconic sound with that Kirker exhaust on it. All right, I'd love to know what you guys think. If any of you out there have a favorite among this trio of motorcycles, please feel free to comment in the comment section below. As always, I hope you found this video entertaining and informative, and until next time, enjoy the ride.